One of the oldest tracks in the nation is the Milwaukee Mile. It's older than Indianapolis. It's older than Watkins Glen. It's the oldest oval racing facility in the country. And we're going to race here tonight for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series, the next round of their Class D championship. Finian, welcome to Milwaukee Mile. We're so excited to take on this famous racetrack, kind of buried right in the middle of Wisconsin. And every time we come here, it's been an entertaining race, whether it's in IndyCar, whether it's in NASCAR stuff. But tonight, the flat track here in Milwaukee is going to be raced on for 150 laps with the Class D national car. We're so excited to get this one underway.
Yeah, indeed, and really looking forward to seeing these guys do. And this is actually the second race we've done at Milwaukee. It was a slightly smaller field because it was just a Triple Crown event. They were actually using the Triple Crown really to test this series. See if that's something they actually wanted to go forward with, and in the end result, they did go forward with this. And here we're back in Milwaukee for another race. So this will be interesting to watch because these guys do actually have, some of the guys at least in this field, have some practice around here. It's not completely foreign to them. So this will be interesting to see how this race plays out.
Absolutely. So we're going to head down to the racetrack here in just a moment. Qualifying is underway, and a driver that we noticed that was here, Finian, that we haven't seen in a little while is the 84 of Cameron Rich, filling in for Matt Hackathorn tonight. He's on track. Ron Hagelin in the number 11, currently on provisional pole as we head down to the racetrack. Corey Lindsay, Levi Zielinski in the field. Just shy of 30 drivers here this evening for our 150-lap event. And Nick Delicato in the 51, Finian, he's got a couple wins under his belt so far this season, and he's been really impressive in this number 51 Toyota Camry. So we'll see if he can bring home a victory tonight in this 150-lap event. But talking about Milwaukee, Finian, because it's a challenging racetrack. It's flat. It's got walls that will catch you on track out, but also some rumble strips on the bottom that if you get your left side tires on, you're going to go for a ride.
Yeah, they want to be careful, and it's really all about, you can use the curbs. However, it really depends on your angle of attack, how you're going over. You can see in Delicato there, going straight over the curbs. You want to, if anything, you want to cut straight and make a straight path over them. You don't want to straddle the curb, because that's where you're going to see these guys get loose, because there's just a severe lack of grip going over them in comparison to the asphalt.
Look at the shifting by Nick Delicato. I didn't expect to see this, to see a little bit more yaw out of the car, but down to third gear. This is not something I think we've seen before. It's going down to third gear in the corner. So Delicato going to jump to fourth on the timing and scoring, and that will be where he sits for qualifying for the time being. Chad Frankenfield in the 15 has found recent success. Got himself into some trouble a couple weeks ago at Bristol, but we'll see if he can rebound tonight.
And interested in seeing how he's going to play out here as he comes out of the final turn, out of turn 4, and I believe he's starting a lap. Yes, he'll start a lap, so we'll see where Frankenfield can end up. It's currently Justin Coe in the 52 sitting up on top. Levi Zielinski, Ron Hagelin, Nick Miller, and Nick Delicato, your top 5, waiting for a few more, not necessarily important drivers, but high-profile drivers in the series, waiting on Gable, Cameron Rich, Frankenfield himself, and even Matt Gruber put down times, and that'll really be the big dogs in this series, especially Gable, who's second in points.
So I don't want to call this race an endurance event, because it's certainly not that, but it is definitely going to be longer in duration than previous races. 150 laps, 30-second lap times around here. So it's going to be a bit longer of a race, kind of more on par with our typical cup racing events, as Cameron Rich jumps on track in the 84, filling in for Matt Hackathorn, and this is a driver that could certainly win this race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Rich, a real force to reckon with. Did a fantastic job in the Truck Series last season. Every time he was on the track for the events he entered, he was top of the boards, even in the Cup Series as well. And here he comes across the line, and where will Cameron Rich end up?
30.8, it's going to be good enough for only 14th best. We'll see if he's got another time for another lap here, so I'm sure he'll be a bit quicker on the second lap. Well, look at his hands working inside this car.
Well, he's looking like a rallycross driver, the way he's fighting the wheel through the turn, and out of turn 2 to see how turns 3 and 4 go for him. He's still back and forth, sawing at the wheel, trying to keep this car straight and manage the throttle.
And back to third gear, as you mentioned, driver shifting today to get some extra torque out of the car. Cross the line, 30.495, and that is good enough for third. Goes Cameron Rich, Josh Clark in the 28 on track. A couple of drivers chose not to qualify. Gable, Fisher, Dewar, Story, Miller, and Matt Gruenberg at the tail of the field.
Yeah, and really the big names from that list who didn't qualify, really Gruber and Gable, first and second in the points. Both those guys looking to start from the back. So I think that's really a sign. I know, well, Gruber we kind of have to throw out because we've seen Gruber in the past. He just likes to start in the back for front and work his way up through the field. He enjoys doing that, but I think with Gable doing it as well, I think it might be from the mindset that this is going to be Definitely an eventful race. I mean, last time we were here, I was taking a look. We had 7 cautions and we only had 120 laps. So I think they're expecting some wrecks, especially early on. And I think they're trying to just be a little bit cautious to stay out of the mess.
So with the field ready to grid here, let's take a look at our starting lineup here this evening, Finian, because on the front row, it's Justin Colby. Almost won the championship in the Cup Series last year. Rolls off in first from California. Levi Zielinski, the 97, is on the outside of the first row.
And moving on to row 2, find Cameron Ridge in third in the 84, and he's going to be starting next to Ron Hagelin in fourth in the 11 car.
In row number 3, Nick Miller in the number 9 from the Midwest rolls off in fifth, and Nathan Velez in the number 48 rolls off in sixth.
Moving on back to 7th place, we find Nick Delicato in the 51, swept at Lime Rock Park. We'll see what he can do here. Next to him, Kevin Finn in 8th in the 14.
In 9th place, Race Clark in the number 22. And on the outside, Drew Eisenman in that rainbow color, number 77 from Texas.
Back in 11th, you find Chad Frankenfield in the 15 car, and he's going to be starting next to Brendan Kluser, who's in 12th in the 94.
In 13th, Corey Lindsay in the 00 from Pennsylvania, and on the outside will be Sam Close in the 5 in 14th.
Back in 15th, you find Carlos Acosta in the 2 car, and he's going to be lined up next to Richard Hines in 16th in the 87 car.
And in row number 9, Tanner Sharp in the Blurry Motorsports number 3, and Brent Miller in the 18th spot in the number 89.
Back in 19th, you find the 75 of Frank Sims from Carolina. Next to him, Michael Goodman in 20th in the 44.
And in 21st place, Josh Clark in the number 28, and Matt Gruber starting at the tail, or towards the tail of the field rather, in 22nd in his number 54.
Yeah, going through the guys that didn't put on a qualifying time, Justin Gable, 23rd in the 13, next to James Miller, 24th in the 09.
Jeffrey Fisher in the 06 rolls off 25th, and Jess Story, who almost had a top 5 result at Watkins Glen last night, rolls off 26th.
And rounding out your field, Justin Dewar in 27th in the 32. That's going to... Actually, lucky. Gable actually didn't even line up for the pace up. I'm not sure if he's even here.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't look like he is, so won't be able to take the green here tonight.
That's going to be unfortunate to see how the points play out. As one of the highest guys up to Gruber. Well, Gruber going to be able to extend his points lead here tonight if he does pretty well. He's got a long ways to go to do it, but it'll be the 52 of Cove leading the field to green.
He's been really solid so far this season, and also in last season as well. He's been probably the most improved over the last 12 months. They're going to roll out of turn number 4, 150 laps if we go green from start to finish. It'll take us about an hour and 16 minutes, which will put us just after 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Green flag flies, and we're racing an American Classic, the Milwaukee Mile. First lap complete, and Justin Kolb leads the way. Behind him, they're getting settled out. Levi Zielinski hangs on to second, and we're to a double wide down into turn 1. There is the 94 Kluster, who's taking a look at Drew Eisenman. That's for 11th.
Get up the road, and Delicato fighting it out with the 9 and Nick Miller. He's going to get the spot. Whoa, and sideways out of turn 2. That's Kevin Finn in the 14. He's going to pull down low, trying to wrestle that car back under control. Going to fall in behind the 15
Oh! Then he chucked it down into turn 3 and almost drove up underneath the 15 car. We saw at Bristol. These things love to get sideways when you battle for position nose to tail. And here comes Levi Zielinski down the inside to take the lead into turn 1, and Rich is going to try to follow through.
Yeah, Zielinski opened up the door and then opened up the opportunity for Rich to get on bicycle. We're going to lose 2 spots in 1 quarter. Rich not done yet. A great run out of turn 2, racing side by side down the back straightaway. It looks like Zielinski's going to yield to the 84, so Rich going to take the lead from 3rd to 1st in 1 lap.
Side by side for the lead on lap number 3.
Oh.
Big bobble by the 84. Slipping and sliding here on this low grip surface at the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, that's surprising. He was able to hold the outside, would have been able to retain the lead. And here comes Cobe looking back up the inside, but not enough to make a lunge.
On the rumble strips on the inside, we talked about those briefly, Finney, and there to keep the drivers from abusing the pit exit lane. The problem with those, we got trouble in the background. It's the 2 car.
Of Acosta. He's around. And might be the only car involved in that. I thought I saw a second car go around, but it looks like he might have been the only one involved.
Yeah, and Acosta's had some awful rotten luck lately, and he'll go around for the first caution of the night. Let's go back and take a look at exactly how this happened. And off Off into turn 1. Was there contact maybe? Oh, the 28 of Josh Clark. He's going to drive up into the side of the 2. That's what turns him around and backs it into the fence. Just slight contact there. Off into turn 1, you're going to see again. 28 just slips up off the bottom and just tags the 2, and he got that wheel cranked to the right quick enough, but not enough throttle. It's so difficult to keep these things from sliding when you get hit like that, Finian.
Yeah, indeed. Luckily for him, only got very minor damage to the rear of that car. It should be easy to get fixed up and ready to get back out there.
So 5 laps in here to this 150-lap race, and Levi Zielinski and Cameron Rich already going hard for the lead. What about pit stops? Because Nick and Delicato thought about it, but decided to stay out.
I see Eisenman in the background. He's going to start leading guys in the back. They're all going to come in. So a lot of guys outside the top 10 electing to pick. Still some guys deciding to stay out, grab some track position.
Looser, who's in there as well. All the blurry cars. Corey Lindsay. I don't know if that. I mean, that's in the box somehow.
That's violent. Yeah, that was a violent entry into his box. I'm sure his crew had to jump out of the way.
Yeah, he's kind of angled towards the wall. It's going to be hard for him to leave that box, but tires are going up on that car. So Levi Zielinski stealing the lead away from Kolb early. Cameron Rich slotting into second place in the 84, and I think this car can easily go to victory lane tonight with how good he's shown himself.
Actually, if we can go to a quick commercial break. Just need to adjust.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Coming to the restart here, the Milwaukee Mile for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. And first caution out on lap number 5 for the 2-car of Carlos Acosta, going for a loop down in turn number 1. Already headed back to the green here, Finian, and Zielinski going to choose the outside lane. Are you surprised by this lane choice?
Not really. We've seen some guys be able to carry some great runs. In fact, that's how Cameron Rich almost stole away the lead from the 97 and Zielinski. So we'll see how this is going to work out this time, but it depends on the jump that the 97 gets.
Pace truck's going to peel off. Lap number 8, the restart. Green flag back in the air, and Zielinski gets a great jump as they head down to turn 1.
Yeah, Rich tried to time it, but he went a little bit too early, had to back off, and that's where Zielinski found his time to strike and was able to jump away from the rest of the field. There you see them coming out at turn 2 now. Already single file for the first few spots. Here comes Delicato looking up the inside of Cobb. Frankenfield trying to move up some spots.
Down into turn number 3, and you see Frankenfield kind of knocking on the door for a top 5. He started 11th, so he's one of the big movers.
The 5 is
damn close. Yeah. Sideways with a big
he's
tap.
Still sideways. He's not done yet.
Oh, man, to the outside goes the 87 of Richard
Hines. You see the 54 Gruber, speaking of which, he's already just knocking on the door of the top 10. But he gave a lot of room to Sam Close to make sure that he stayed out of any potential incident.
Slipping and sliding. Let's have a look at the weather conditions here today, Finny. The track surface is really cool, but that allows you to be more aggressive and potential problems for drivers driving this hard.
You know what happens to aggressive, and looking at Justin Cobb, he's actually dropping back a little bit. Whoa! Around on the 11 car.
Sideways for the 3rd place car.
Was able to save it and didn't hit anything, but it was running in 3rd. He's dropping back to 8th, 9th, and still falling down the order.
Oh, Matt Gruber going to take this middle 3 wide here as they head through 1 and 2. There's last night's winner, the 09 of James Miller, tucked in behind. Going to try to tuck up underneath the 11, and Hagelin's going to drop down more spots on the back straightaway.
You see Cobb trying to rebound back on the 54. They're still side by side heading into turn 3. But Miller going to throw it up the inside of Hagelin. He's going to get clear, and same thing with Gruber up ahead.
Intense battles for position. This will eventually even out once tires start to wear out, but right now you got a lot of grip. That doesn't. Miller goes around in the background and gonna slide to a halt on the front straightaway and just barely avoids getting drilled. There's Frank Sims in the 75 caught up in it. Second caution.
Very slow caution.
Took a while for it, actually. Go back and see how this all started. This was coming out of turn 4. And here is a look at the 75 of Frank Sims, but it's the car that gets sideways. Oh yeah, he's going to get rear-ended here by the 75, and Miller tries to hang on to it. It's back across the racetrack, and they kind of get hung up together here. We're right on board with Frank Sims in just a moment. Get kind of
ironically, the 75 of Frank Sims kind of knocked the 89 back straight. So here's the initial contact there.
It's almost like the 89 was he mid-shift? He slowed down very suddenly.
And then you can see he gets straight again, but then again the 89 goes sideways and gets turned around very slowly, and a caution going to come out.
Just really slow to get on the throttle there.
He waited an eternity to get on the throttle.
Yeah, and I almost don't blame the 75 for that, because by that point he should have been full throttle, and I think that for Sims would be expecting full throttle there, so I would definitely put that at least partially on Brett Miller there. Which you usually don't do for getting rear-ended, but in that situation, these guys are really making late decisions down to pit lane.
And Iceman again leading the charge down. I'm surprised he weren't on the green for that long.
Well, they feel like it's going to be worth it. There's Michael Goodman in the 44 in the background. But up front, it's still Levi Zielinski leading the way for the moment. We head onto the back straightaway for our second caution of the night, and we saw again when we came here last season for the Triple Crown event, this was kind of a caution-filled race. We saw a lot of incidents, and so far we're kind of on pace for that.
Yeah, 7 cautions in the Triple Crown event, and that was a little bit shorter than this. It was 120 laps, supposedly 150 we're running tonight. So, if I'm not mistaken, too,
are you good? You gotta quit smoking. The last 2 nights you've been.
I got some phlegm in my throat.
Oh, that's lovely.
But so I think in the last one too, we saw there was a few cautions at the beginning, and we had a nice long green flag run to the end of that race. So we're kind of seeing a similar.
It was actually came down to fuel mileage, I remember.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get the one to green this time by, and we'll double back up again. Zielinski will choose the outside lane for the restart. And again, the history of this track, Finney, it's one of the oldest, actually it is the oldest motorsports facility in the country. Originally was built as a horse track, from what I understand, back in the 1800s, and kind of was repurposed into a motor racing facility when the automobile came about, and it's been here ever since. It hasn't hosted a major series in quite some time, but hopefully someday the sounds of NASCAR can thunder around this facility again.
Yeah, someday. I really hope, again, a lot of people are hoping NASCAR throws some curveballs with the schedule realignment. Unfortunately, I have a sneaky suspicion it's probably not going to be as drastic as most fans would hope for, but I think this is definitely probably way out there as far as being on the schedule, but there's always hope, at least for the lower series too, to see the trucks or the Xfinity series back here. It'll be pretty cool.
Coming back to the restart, lap number 15 for our second restart of the night, and it's Zielinski, Rich, Kolb, and Delicato. Frankenfield up inside the top 5, and Matt Gruber has cracked the top 10 in less than 15 laps. Green flag back in the air, and a slow restart for Rich. He's got a Delicato all over that rear bumper as they head down to turn 1.
Yeah, he's been kind of struggling after these restarts in comparison to Zielinski, but he's going to be able to at least take second place away, and Delicato going to steal third from Justin Coe.
And surprised that Kolb has been kind of sliding backwards. Here's Gruber going to take a little look on the bottom, 3 wide into turn 3, backs out of it. This is for 9th spot. And up on the high side of the racetrack, that is the 22 of Race Clark. And right behind him, last night's winner from Watkins Glen, James Miller.
Yeah, Big slide. Force the issue, almost made it 3 wide there. He's going to have a look on the exit to the inside of Race Clark, but can't quite up. He's going to make a big dive down into turn 1 and able to take the spot away from the 22.
There's Nick Miller in the number 9 car. He started this race back in 5th spot. He's dropped 3 spots since the drop of the green flag, and might lose another one here if that 09 keeps coming forward. Up in front, Zielinski pulling a bit of a gap on Cameron Rich at the lap after the restart. And Chad Frainfield now under attack from Gruber. This 54 car is driving forward. And do I remember that right? Did he win this race back the last time we ran here? I feel like he did.
Be surprised. Let me double check.
Oh, we got a slow car in the front straight. It's Corey Lindsay down on the bottom of the racetrack. And Carlos Costa trying to recover from his early spin in the number 2 to the outside of Richard Hines down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, up the road, Drew Eisenman takes a look at Brandon Kloosterhuis. To the bottom of the racetrack he goes.
And Klooster's rocking the outside lane. I think really that might be the place to potentially make a pass as the tires start to wear off a little bit more. You can really get a good run on the straightaway, and we've seen it work. So Curious if we're going to see that become more and more viable as the run goes on.
Surprised at Tanner Sharp here, Finney, and he's been so fast at pretty much every racetrack we've gone to. But tonight started 17th, and he's really gone nowhere so far. This is a driver that could have won probably about half the races this season, but slow progress so far for the 3.
And you see a lot of traffic up ahead. These guys haven't really spread out a whole lot since the green flag came back out. They're all pretty much clumped together, fairly close to one another. You can see some guys making a pass on the front straightaway down into turn 1.
Yeah, whoa, big slide for Nick Miller, and Clark gonna try to stick the nose in the hole, unable to do so. This racetrack, Vinny, we mentioned how cool it is. We got a battle for the lead here. I think the drivers are struggling with grip with this old surface. It's not in the best of shape. It's also really bumpy, but Zielinski now dealing with Cameron Rich right on that rear bumper as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, you can see, it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see 84 of Cameron Rich struggling to get this car out of the corner. And you just watch the handwork. And the wheels going all every which way.
Yeah, you can see the wheels fighting. That's a cool shot. On the back straightaway, Nick Indelicato, who swept Blind Rock Park a few weeks ago, won both races at that doubleheader event for rounds 3 and 4. He's starting to close back in, and he's really a threat. He's been fast at every racetrack too, just like Tanner Sharp, but he's got the results to go with it. Had a crash at Daytona, but otherwise, and I think also Fontana, but was running well at both of those events. Matt Gruber up to 5th place on the inside of Nathan Velez. Change for position, pass complete. Deeper in the field, Eisenman and Miller for 12th. That pass is now over. And back to the front now is Cameron Rich.
Yeah, Matt McLeod coming over the track, putting it in darkness here. As you see, Zielinski charge the corner pretty high here. Cameron Rich going to try to rebound on him. Well, the guy is running 3rd gear and shifting back and forth straight away.
I only noticed this with the drivers up towards the front. I think everyone in the back is a bit more conservative with their power output because they're struggling with rear grip exiting the corner, but Cameron's shifting on both ends of the racetrack down to 3rd gear. This is not something you see at other tracks other than maybe Pocono. This is a rare thing for an oval driver to do because it's so difficult to downshift and not upset the drive line and spin yourself out.
Yeah, it really is a hard thing to do. You need quite a bit of skill. I'm also a little bit concerned as you see these guys, you know, whether they're shifting back up or getting into the higher revs and the back end sliding out a bit. I'm interested in the tire wear the guys up front that are shifting are facing.
Race Clark slipping and sliding. There goes Hagelin up to into 10th after he dropped back on one of those restarts. Here comes Eisenman up the inside as well in the 77. And Sam Close in the 5. Had a pretty solid run last night at Watkins Glen in the Super Late Model Tour. Well, we got a couple laps under our belt here, and drivers starting to find some room to race. Chad Frankenfield back in 7th. Nathan Velez next on the chopping block for him.
And how about the guy up in 4th, Matt Gruber, cue the Jaws music, started all the way in the back of the field and has found his way up in 4th, chasing down our leaders.
And just a moment ago, we saw Chad Frankenfield actually get the wall out of turn 4. Just a slight scrape. He'll continue. But these two are going at it, Finney, and nose to tail. And so he's going to actually go defensive down the back straight.
Yeah, Rich going to work around the outside. We saw this a little bit early in the race that Rich was trying to take the spot away, but got a little bit sideways out of the corner. Here he comes back on the inside hard.
Big run, and he saw the car bobble because he's still in 3rd gear trying to keep the power to the ground. And Nick Indelicato smells blood in the water. Here he comes.
Yeah, Rich looking again on the outside, going to throw it deep into the corner and maybe try to wrestle it away, but no, it's going to dive back down again. Maybe a tap.
Oh, slip and slide, and Delicato staying in 4th gear behind these two. Another big slip out of turn 2 for Levi Zielinski. Side by side again down the back straight. A great battle for the lead here in Milwaukee.
He's been gaining, making inroads on that outside lane little by little each lap. He's gotten more and more alongside, but here comes Delicato. But you see him struggling to get the power down because they're all in 3rd gear trying to get out of the corners, and the back end just coming around. Here comes Indelicato up the inside. Same thing with Gruber.
Yeah, Gruber has been super opportunistic with drivers slipping and sliding, and Cameron Rich is going to drop now to 4th. Go from 2nd to 4th in half a lap, and Zielinski able to gain some ground. There is a lap car just in front of them. That's the 75 of Frank Sims. And Gruber taking a lunge at Indelicato. I love this racetrack. This is such a fun place.
It really is a cool racetrack. And Gruber going to try to size up a move down into turn 1. He's going to be within lunging distance. Here he goes.
Oh, he just got to the inside quarter panel, and Delicato has to give him space. That's about as close as you can get through turns 1 and 2. We've seen that be a trouble spot so far tonight, and actually Delicato's going to get picked off turn 2 with that lap car, Frank Sims. Gonna get tight.
It's gonna get tight. Sims trying to move out of the way here. Gonna give these guys space to battle it out.
And Gruber actually did the 51 a favor. He actually moved over And we've seen that kind of be a problem, especially at plate tracks in the past. But Levi Zielinski is using this opportunity to try to drive away. Velez has a look at the lap car and going to bring Frankenfield with him.
And you can see that Zielinski being unchallenged, he's starting to drive a little bit away from the rest of the field. He's building up a little bit of gap, 6/10 of a second separating himself from Gruber.
James Miller back here again. He won at Watkins Glass Light in very dominant fashion. Started this night back in 24th. He's up to 8th, so maybe not quite as quick progress as guys like Matt Grunberg, but still doing a pretty good job. Here's Frankenfield again taking a swipe at Velez. Bit deeper in the field, Race Clark and Ron Hagelin fighting for 11th spot.
Yeah, and we saw Hagelin. He was up as high as 3rd at one point, but had a slip up out of turn 4 and dropped down the order. Has not been able to completely recover. And also looking at Clusius and Tanner Sharp, they're duking it out.
Oh, Sharp's going to back up mid-corner. Almost has a moment with the 5 of Sam Close. Gruberg is hunting Zielinski back down at the front of the field. The gap is 4/10 of a second. And closing. A fifth of the way through this race at the line this time through. We got a couple laps of green flag under our belt now.
Yeah, I think we're potentially looking at a decent green flag run at this point once these guys get spread out like this.
So the question now becomes, what's the tire wear like? Who's pushing too hard? We're seeing drivers slide around. That's going to hurt your tires. So, did Zielinski burn too much stuff off, or did Gruenberg burn too much stuff off?
We're looking at Cameron Rich. He's starting to drop back. He just got passed by Justin Cove for the 4th place position. So Rich back in a 5th. Ty is 2nd, and he might continue to drop back. Velez and Frankenfield as they close in. Here comes Hagelin up the inside of Race Clark. He's going to get that spot for 11th.
Well, Zielinski's time is up, it looks like, as here comes Matty G in the 54.
Don't know if he necessarily likes being
well,
we'll see.
I'm hoping he likes it, because that was cool. It's cool to have a nickname. Then behind him, look at Colvin Rich for 4th. Rich trying to return the favor on Justin Cole, unable to get there, though. So for the lead, Gruenberg is there. Look at the slide. Look at the angle. They're drifting out here in an all-tail Dodge.
Although, granted, I think with 54, we're talking about Ty, where I think he's probably done the best. I've seen his car the least sideways out of our leaders, especially since he's been up here. Look how much more yaw that the 97 has in comparison to him, especially on corner exit.
Oh, he's planted as the 54, not at turn 4. Battle for the lead, and a huge block down the front straightaway, almost to the pit wall. Goes Zielinski. Gruenberg swings the driver's right. They're going to try to re-attack him on the back straight.
Yeah, actually, we can pull the speedometer back up on him. I'm curious if he's actually shifting in these corners. I don't think he is.
Yeah, we're kind of a split strategy here tonight between a lot of the drivers.
There he is entering in 4th.
And he's going to go on the outside now, carry some extra speed, but yeah, 4th gear for him. So not everybody is shifting.
And honestly, I would kind of prefer to be with that strategy. Again, just kind of wearing out the tires less. You're going to have a better tire later in the run.
And Indelicado's right back in this group. So Zielinski again creating an accordion of race cars.
Whoa.
Cameron Rich, the whole top 5 in this fight as they exit turn 2 at Milwaukee.
And Delicado sent it pretty hard down into turn 1. Almost hooked the 54 of Gruenberg, at least hit him in the back. And Cove trying to retake the lead back. We saw him, he lost it early on. Trying to get himself back up there. Looking at Frankenfield to the inside of Nathan Velez. They're going to exchange spots as Velez goes way out of line.
That big slide for the 48. Down the front straightaway again. Zielinski up against the wall. Going to arc in hard into turn 1. And cover the spot. Gruenberg is now stuck behind, but he's being pretty patient here, all things considered.
Yeah, I think he knows again. There are only 35 laps into 150 minutes. Don't even have less than 100 to go.
Great run at the exit of turn 2 for Gruenberg, but unable to get to the inside of the 97.
And no need to force the issue here. I mean, you really can't go much higher than 2nd, obviously up into 1st, but the leader's right ahead of him. He's just going to have to rest patient here. Gotta be careful, too. I was just going to say, because Indelicado's looking pretty hungry. Going to stick his nose on the outside lane, maybe work around the outside.
Yeah, Delicado, there was a hole there, and he took it. Snuck up against the concrete barrier on the front straightaway. And it's a 5-car fight for the lead of the Milwaukee Mile. And Gruber's just been so solid. No rush here. He's been very patient. But out of the rear bumper of the 97, I think over time, over the course of this race, he's going to get less and less patient and might start using that bumper to get on by and build up a lead.
I really I think it might come down to how held up he feels. If he feels he can get out in front, expand a gap, I think he might try to force the issue, but he's just kind of riding him behind the 97. So Interested in seeing how this battle is going to turn out. He's starting to build a little bit of a gap between himself and Delicado for second and third.
Right back to the rear bumper again. Completed lap number 37. Let's start thinking about pit stops here at some point, Finian, for some of these drivers. Second place driver Matt Gruber has been out on track since the drop of the green flag. A lot of these guys have been. So pit stop, you got to start thinking about it when you want to come. But here comes a Delicado taking a look up the inside for second. Grunberg still right behind that 97.
Yeah, I'm not convinced these guys can go all the way on one stop. I feel like it's going to have to be two. We'll see here as Co goes way up the inside. Delicado going to back out a lot. He's going to actually even let Rich going by.
The crossover, maybe have a run on corner exit, down to the bottom. Here he comes back on the 84 for the lead. Gruber gets to the outside lane. No overlap, though. Now there is into turn one.
Yeah, this is kind of hard to make. You know, really, you need to be almost dead alongside the car you're fighting with.
He's going to cross over, though. He wanted to get that power down a little bit earlier, but he can't quite do it. You see the bobble, the hands moving inside the car.
Yeah, I was going to say, it also has a problem, too, that Zielinski's sitting pretty tight on exit, so there's nowhere to really go with the crossover. So that's where he's struggling here.
Riding on board with Gruenberg. And a steady hand on turns 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, he seems like he's struggling to get the power down on exit.
Air riding the curve just a little bit.
Now it's a lot steadier here, but it's not as fast. That's a trade-off you have to make. If you want to get that extra torque, you have to go down a gear or take a better run off the exit. And here comes Justin Cole back into the fight. He's been picking it up. He was the quickest car inside the top 5 last time by.
Remember, he was our pole sitter for this race, so he has some speed. And I think he can definitely be flexing his muscles here.
In the background, James Miller taking a look at Nathan Velez for 7th. They'll run door-to-door at the exit of turn 2. Velez again trying to find grip up at the top of the racetrack. This is unique in that it doesn't have progressive banking. It has 9 degrees from bottom to top, and there's no higher banking up the road like there is at tracks like New Hampshire. Oh, big bobble for the 84. Collected 52, slip and slide, and they're going to continue, but 3 wide for 3rd place. Battle for the lead down into turn 1. Oh, wow, that was close.
Oh, I don't know if he was trying to do that on purpose or not, but... Man,
that was a dicey moment there.
That's exactly what Gruber needed. So now he's got some breathing room to have his way with first place Levi Zielinski. He's looking at 84 of Rich.
Yeah, it looks like that tire is certainly not looking too great there.
I mean, it should have fixed it. He's definitely driving like he's got 4 tires.
No, he does. It's just like it'll take a while to fix itself. There it is.
Magic.
Now Gruber's got some breathing room, and if he makes a mistake now, he won't get swallowed up for more than 2nd place or 3rd place. So he's close enough to make a lunge, but Zielinski's going to defend.
So
here he comes.
Going to be opportunistic with it, try to scare the 97 out of it, but Zielinski's going to defend on the inside. And talking about Zielinski, the man's needed some luck. He's, you know, we thought last year was just where it is, but it's kind of creeped into this year as well. You know, I can't imagine what a win would do for him.
Well, sometimes you got to make your own luck. And Sam Close just gotten by Tanner Sharp for 15th place. They're going to go back to the lead, though. Justin Kolb under attack from Chad Frankenfield off into turn number 3. A bit of a stack up here. Cameron Rich, James Miller together. And Miller up in the inside. He'll take 6th place away. This battle for the lead has lasted since the drop of the green flag at lap 14. They have not had a moment to breathe since then. And this is the best run Gruber's had. He's going to the inside again. Will Zielinski go to defend? No. To the outside in 3. You hear how clever he's being with that throttle, just slowly feeding it in. But Zielinski able to have a bit more grip on corner exit still.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job defending so far, with Delicado back in the hunt. It's a top 3 breakaway from the rest of the field. I imagine eventually at the rate we're going at, I think we'll see Cove and even Frank will come back into the mix.
Working our way towards the 1/3 mark of this race in about 5 laps, maybe 4 this time through, and I would expect this to be a 2-stop race.
Yeah, that's where I would expect a lot of guys coming down. We might see some guys stick out here.
Here comes Gruber to the inside. slip and slide to try to get overlap on the 97. He is there.
Yeah, this is going to be it here. Here he comes. Big dive to the inside of the 97. So he's going to try to pinch on that outside lane.
Contact dooring together, and that's going to clear the 54, I'm sure. And yes, he's through. And here comes Indelicato for second. Took a little bit of rough and tumble, but he got there. And here the tires working overtime to try to keep these cars planted to the ground. Now the question is, does Indelicato have pace for the 54? Whoa, Frankenfield, big slide out of the exit. It was quicker last time, wasn't Indelicato? Have a look, 30.975. The Gruber's 30.969.
Chance since the lead's kind of quiet down for actually, as I say that, I think Kobe and Zelinsky are about to go at it.
Not a dull moment. Not a dull moment here at Milwaukee Mile. A lot of M's.
Mountain Dew Pie.
Mountain Dew Pie. If anybody is a fan of the channel Good Mythical Morning, I know I certainly am. We were kind of laughing about the Mountain Dew Moon Pie mix-up. That was such a fun episode. Josh, their kitchen expert. Mountain Dew Pie. Oh, man. Look at the feet of Frankenfield, a little bit loose on it for, almost caught in the wall, and now James Miller sizing up for a top 5.
He's going back off of it, though, still staying behind the 15, is running 5th and 6th, respectively.
A little bit of rumble strip there on the middle of the corner. Indelicato a little bit slower than leader Matt Gruenberg last time by. Let's look a little bit deeper in the field. There's Brandon Klusters, Nick Miller. 3.5 seconds back to Richard Hines, Tanner Sharp, and here's Carlos Acosta trying to recover from his early spin and doing a pretty decent job, but progress has been slow.
I was going to say, looking at the car, you can't even tell that it spun and went back to the wall. He had pretty light contact. Some small dents on the right rear, but other than that, the car is pretty much fine.
That's a beautiful paint scheme on that car as well.
Unfortunately, it has just not had the look to really go with it, and especially considering how beautiful that car looks. It's not been a really great season for Acosta as you look at the 06 of Fisher of the inside.
We'll go through for 18th. Sam Close in the 5 goes back to 19th place. And Sam Close is one of these drivers that I would have expected to embrace this car and be really solid in it. But when it comes to his success, it doesn't seem to be matching his Truck Series success from a few seasons ago. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of Sam Close inside the top 5.
Yeah, I really haven't either. When you're talking about really Sam Close and his teammate Paul Ross, those guys are doing really well in the Truck Series.
Paul Ross is one of those drivers we haven't seen in a very long time.
Ever since really Ross left, we've seen Close kind of fall off the pace as well. I don't think it's related, but it's an interesting note there. Both those guys did really good. They were together.
Well, we're past the 1/3 mark of this race. Still have yet to see drivers hit pit lane on a green flag cycle. If they can go to lap 75, they can go to the end from there. And there's the 75, but Frank Sims still 4 laps down, just trying to stay out of the way. There's Levi Zielinski in 3rd. Whoa, that was tight! He turned him down in turn 3, and Zielinski slams the wall.
That is heartbreaking.
That's a frustrating...
Oh, and another car involved there, a red car. I think that might be
Hagelin. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, lots of damage to these cars now. Lots of damage. Must have been significant contact after the fact.
I don't know what happened after. But that car is now pretty much destroyed. Same thing with the 11.
Wow. There was really a pretty light tap, but then I think Hagelin came in and just absolutely obliterated the 97. Let's go back and see how this all started. This was off into turn 3. There's the tap. Turns him around, and then I think there was more contact here.
So the car's kind of fine here, and then something happened where Hagelin keeps...
Oh, man!
Oh, how on earth?
Right on board with Hagelin here. Oh, just too fast.
Whoa.
Way too much speed. Yeah, that's just, that's poor racecraft there. I mean, that caution had been out for a while.
Yeah.
That's one of those situations, Finney, you got the yellow flag out, and the 77 had plenty of time to slow down, and he almost jumped he had to miss the 77 who was slowing for the wreck, and that's what caused that secondary incident. And this is why in the caution's out, I don't care where you are. You can't lose positions, just slow down, because you just cost the 97 the rest of the race here.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some penalties handed
for
to
sure.
both 75 and the 11.
Yeah, and warranted. I mean, if that happened in real life, you'd be banned from pretty much every racing organization known to man.
That was a really horrible wreck there. And then looking at the initial incident, 75 completely just took out Zelensky.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating thing as well, because Frank Sims generally does a pretty good job of staying out of the way, but either the 97 spooked him or what. But
I think he just missed his braking marker, but still, I don't know why you're trying to brake so late into the corner, because this is pretty late.
Again, you're 4 laps down. I'm not sure there's much reason, and Levi would have been okay.
I feel so bad for him. I was just about to say too when he was in the lead. We've never actually seen him win on Sim TV. I thought that we did at some point, but as far as 3-wide competition is concerned, we've never seen him in victory lane. The last time he has been in victory lane was in the Cup Series in April at Bristol.
This is a helpless feeling. This is actually, I want to do this at full speed to get the full effect here. This is inside Levi's car.
And so, he hits the wall. It's like, all right, I spun. I'm going to get back going again.
This 11 car is sailing in there.
Absolutely annihilated.
Yeah.
And that's going to end his race. All right, with David, he's actually back on the track, but definitely not in winning condition.
No, that car is absolutely totaled. Now, with the damage model situation, you might be able to repair it back to full tilt, but it's going to take a while to get there. But frustrating race. We've had pit stops. It looks like James Miller stays out. So we're back live now, kind of catching up with the situation here. So Miller stays out of the racetrack. Everyone else has come down to pit lane for tires and fuel. And Miller likely just going to lead a lap. I think he'll hit pit lane this time through, and it looks like he will do so. So that will turn the lead back over to Gruber and Delicato, Kolb, Frankenfield, Eisenman as your top 5.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to make this race a one-stop to the end. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And Gruber going to choose the bottom. Are we surprised by this, or does it matter, really?
I mean, it really depends on how good of a launch you get, right? Because, a lot of the times, you see these guys go as soon as the pace car ducks, and granted the pace truck in this case, ducks off pretty late here because the pit road entry is on the straightaway, which is kind of unconventional for most holes. Usually you have the entry at least somewhere in turn 4. So it really just depends on how good of a launch 54 gets. If you can get single file, it doesn't really matter which lane you start from. That's typically why I think we're starting to see more and more guys start on the outside lane, because if anything, they're just already on the outside and get a good line into the corner. They just got to get clear of the guy on the inside.
Also like the use of the pace truck now that we have that option. It looks so much better than the old one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I am glad that we're seeing everyone just kind of switch over to that mode as well.
So coming to the restart, Grunberg on the inside is your leader, then Delicato in second, and the 51, Kolb, Frankenfield, Eisenman, the rest of your top 5. Pace truck's going to peel off, and green flag back in the air, lap number 58 from the Milwaukee Mile. A lot of M's down into turn 1, a little 2 and 3 wide action. There's Carlos Acosta in the middle. And cautions breed cautions. You got to be really cautious right now if you're in the middle of this big group.
And up the inside of Klusers, there's Race Clark going to easily get the spot. Klusers just taking it easy as the field. So the restart looking at Josh Clark way behind.
He started at the back of the field, but really hasn't gone very far with it. Grunberg leads the way down into turn 1. He's got a couple drivers following him. Here's the battle for ultimately about 10th spot. Nick Miller in the 9 car has that. Then it's Costa and Hines side by side for 11th.
Rich, whoa, sideways out of turn 2, trying to get to the inside of Richard Hines. What can't get it done is just trying to navigate through traffic. Is back in 13th.
Yeah, didn't see exactly why he's back here. Did I miss something?
I don't know. Let's see. Especially on pit stop.
He was back
he took a long time. Oh, I think he had trouble entering his box because his pit lane is significantly higher than everyone else. So had some trouble down in pit road under that caution.
Oftentimes when drivers head to pit lane, we'd rather just cover the crash in higher detail than watching pit stops, since we don't have anything really to watch in pit lane. There's just Story middle 3 wide.
And close sideways yet again. He's been struggling to get this car under control, and he's not really moved a whole lot forward.
Yeah, the extra time for Cameron Rich was recorded in pit road, not in the pit stall. So it looks like it was just trouble either entering or exiting the pits, because he was only in a stall for about 15 seconds. So not exactly sure what that holdup was. Meanwhile, there's Brian Kluster, who's up to 8th. But up front, it's all Matt Grunberg leading the way.
You can see that even the top 2 in general, and Delgado's keeping pretty close distance with him, is 0.5 of a second in behind, but they've both broken away from Frankenfield, Kolb, and Eisenman, the rest of your top 5.
Down into turn one, you see, look at this battle. It's kind of shaping up behind Kevin Finn. It's Finn, Velez, Kloosterhoos, Cameron Rich, Race Clark, Richard Hines, Nick Miller, Acosta, and more. There's Acosta on the bottom. He's got the 09 of James Miller behind him, who came in after leading a lap under caution.
Yeah, we're talking about Acosta too. He hasn't really been able to move a whole lot of this caution. I think really help him be able to reset stuff, get back on strategy with everyone else, and slowly moving his way back up. He's currently running in 12th.
But now he has James Miller knocking on the door for that spot, and he is going to just sneak the nose up in there. Acosta leaves space on the bottom of the racetrack. Cameron Rich kind of popping out of line, having a look at the 94.
And he was stuck in behind Acosta and others, so he worked up pretty quickly so far. Is now stuck in behind Brandon Klooster, who's the battle for 8th position.
One of the drivers that's been shifting tonight, and you see how much more he's going to work that wheel when he does that.
I still think, I don't know, I think in the long term, I definitely think you want to be in 4th gear, but definitely to get that short run pace, you're definitely going to want to shift.
At this point, I think he's probably better off being aggressive while everyone's close together like this, and later in the race after the second stop, he can kind of calm down, go into 4th gear, save some tire. I think right now there's a benefit to being aggressive, and that's what we're seeing him do right now. Whoa! As long as it doesn't wipe out and hit the wall, but here it comes to the outside.
Hey, that car's been all sorts of sideways on exit, but he's been able to wrestle it under control. Here comes Race Clark trying to throw his head into the ring, trying to take 8th place as well. Our battle for 8th.
Acosta and the 5 of Stam close. This is a battle for 15th position.
We're just looking at Acosta. He was up in 12th, and now has dropped back potentially to 16th here if Close can get on by.
Yeah, Acosta just seems like he's struggling in general tonight. Although he has rebounded slightly from his crash earlier, his spin, after contact with, I can't remember who was the one that got into him.
It was, I think, the 28th.
Maybe? I don't remember. It's been a long time. Been a lot of racing since then. Grunberg out front, making it look easy thing. That's kind of the Matt Grunberg way. And Delicato, though, is set for a solid points night if he keeps running like this.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be looking at that a little again. The man trying to chase down the points is Matt Grunberg, who's been doing really well in the last few weeks. That's per typical fashion for Grunberg.
On board again with Cameron Rich chasing down the 94. And a lot of times when it comes to tracks that you can shift at, drivers still won't do it because it's difficult to downshift these stock cars without upsetting the driveline. And it looks like Klooster was actually going to pull over and let Rich on through into 8th place. He drove off really hard to protect from Race Clark. Clark's going to turn up underneath him on corner exit and have a look for 10th. Or for 9th place, rather.
Great exit for the 22. He's going to throw him up the end. He's going to launch the car down into turn 1. Easily take it away from Kloosters.
Nathan Velez tapping on the back of the 14's rear bumper. That's for 6th.
This was Cameron Rich back in 8th, trying to catch up to these two guys, take away their positions. He's just trying to climb up back through the field after a mishap on pit road.
So we're about 5-6 laps away here from halfway at lap number, I can't count, 7 laps away from halfway at the Milwaukee Mile, and that'll put us with 75 miles remaining in this race. Obviously, Matt Grunberg is sort of the favorite right now, but is there anybody else? If we get a late race restart, who are you looking at?
I'm particularly looking at Justin Cove. I mean, it was our pole sitter. He showed some pretty good pace on the last run that we had. Granted, I think he's been kind of held up by Frankville here trying to get on by, but yeah, I think he might have some pace we can get back up. But really, I think if it's not Cove, then I think Indelicato. In fact, looking at the fastest laps of the race, Grunberg and Indelicato are the only drivers to get under 30.3.
Driver I'm looking at, he needs some track position to get back up there, but it's Cameron Rich in the 84. He's been incredibly aggressive with his restarts and downshifting. I think that's going to pay dividends later tonight.
Speaking of which, he's catching closer and closer to Nathan Velez. Take away the 7th spot.
Team Miller take a dive up underneath Race Clark for 11th. Oh, he drove in there hard. But yeah, again, Cameron Rich, he's been super aggressive. I like the downshifting. I think that'll work out for him later tonight. But he needs to get more track position, and he's doing that the old-fashioned way. Just get up there and pass them. That's what he's been doing.
It's also incredible how excited he's getting on the entry of these corners as well.
He's working for it, I'll tell you that much. He's probably sweating in there. There's Velez on Drew Eisenman. Or excuse me, that's Kevin Finn. Velez right behind.
He's been way out of line here, and that's going to allow Velez to sneak his car up through the inside as well.
Yeah, the thing about this track, we mentioned it earlier, is the banking is flat from the, not flat, but it's the same degree.
Virtually.
From the inside to the outside. It's about 9 degrees. The problem with that is that other tracks like New Hampshire have progressive banking. The higher up you go, the more banking there is. Here, if you get out of line, you just wash off into the distance and people will just go right by you. There's nothing to save you if you drive out wide. So the bottom of the racetrack is the fastest line. If you miss it, you're going to be going a lot slower. Finn and Velez have been going back and forth quite a bit, at least running nose to tail for a while. I have a feeling Cameron Rich is going to kind of insert himself into this fight shortly.
Whoa, big dive for the 84.
This place kind of incentivizes that.
Yeah.
Slow corner speeds mean that all you have to do is you have to make, as long as you get slowed down, you'll make the corner.
Yeah,
so you can chuck it off in there as deep as you want.
That's the key thing, though, is getting these things slowed down. If you see guys miss their braking markers, and it's resulted in disaster for a few other drivers, so you got to be careful on how hard you're throwing it into the corner, but if you can make the lunge, it definitely does pay off.
Kevin Finn a little bit sideways out of turn 4. Where is Levi Zielinski? Well, he's still out on track. He's
actually
2 laps
fallen,
down.
Yeah, he's just gotten passed by Gruber up the road. So he's gone from 1 lap down to 2 laps down. And I think he's just out here just for the ride. And it's really unfortunate. You know, was looking at potentially getting a win, if not a really solid top 5, but it's not going to be. You can see how much off the pace he is.
That car has got significant damage. And back to Cameron Rich, and he's actually gotten by Velez in the time that we pulled away, so he's going to set his sights on 5th place again. Whoa, big slide for the 14. And next time by will be the halfway point of this race. And we can expect pit stops, what, around lap 100, 110?
Yeah, so we took the race start a little past, not halfway, we're approaching halfway now, a little past lap 50. So, yeah, I think we could probably see pit stops around lap 100. Maybe a little bit close, maybe 105.
Finn's got Cameron Rich all over the gearbox as they exit turn 4.
Whoa!
I love watching these guys slide around.
Yeah, you can see the tire there, him trying to counter steer the car.
Remember back the first race with these cars at Texas, how epic that race was?
Yeah, that was really good.
Tire failures and slipping and sliding. Look at Rich again. Got the wheel in his hands and going for it. And he's certainly filling in for Matt Hackathorn in a very positive way tonight.
I'd say, I really got to say, I'm kind of glad that both 3-Wide and Fuel stopped using the Cup car.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah.
The Cup car, now, I can still plus on good racing, but this is so much better.
I was going to say, I'm just glad we don't have to deal with the Cup car 3 times a week
Yeah.
in its current state.
And ORL runs really entertaining schedules as well. They run a lot of road racing, which kind of negates the whole problem with the aero situation. So now Rich is through to 5th. Finn now has to defend from Nathan Velez, as they did before. But the hole's been opened by that 84 car, so Velez takes a look.
He's going to have to send it here, and this we're talking about these dives into the corners. Velez going to chuck it up the inside. Finn's going to give him a good amount of space and let him get on by. There's also Zielinski appearing as well.
So back up the road, we're going to check in on our leader, Matt Gruber. He's got a 2.8 second lead.
He's expanded his gap at a pretty solid rate, about 2 to 3 tenths a lap. It's expanded to 2.8 seconds between himself and Delgado, and then it's another 2.2 seconds back to Chad Frankenfield.
And Frankenfield got himself into a lot of trouble last week at Bristol. He was involved in 3 or 4 different incidents, but tonight has kept his nose very clean and runs inside the top 5. Justin Colmar, pole sitter tonight, dropped back early, but now looking pretty quick and solid. And running lap times even quicker than Frankenfield in front of him. Behind them, Reese Clark and Richard Hines changing positions for 11th. What do you think about SimTV Sound Surge? We crank it up?
Yeah, I think so.
Here we go. During that sound surge, you heard Matt Gruber lifting and clutching in Finian to try to save fuel, get those revs lower, so maybe they're on the edge of going all the way without another pit stop.
We'll have to see. Actually, if we can ride back on board with Matt Gruber, I'm just curious if he is still doing it or not.
Oh, he certainly is. Let's just run on board here for a lap. Now, he's not shutting the car completely off, which you can do. He's just clutching in. But no other drivers behind him, we observed, have been doing this.
Yeah, and Delgado is working hard trying to catch back up to him. I think a lot of these guys are behind that. And that's just kind of showing that maybe on the verge of making it. So I think they're just, either if thinking, I'm just going to push and make it to the end here. They think it's not worth saving the amount of gas.
Well, Gruber has been keeping this lead pretty constant, even with saving fuel. So I think this is a great strategy. It's weird, eerily quiet when he's got the engine shut down. Again, all he's doing is pushing in the clutch pedal and essentially putting the car into neutral so the car is not wasting fuel pushing the vehicle. However, the engine still has to feed fuel to keep it alive when it's in neutral versus shutting the engine off entirely. So he's not saving fuel at the maximum level that he's capable of, but he's certainly saving at least a little bit.
Yeah, that'll give you, or if you do it over long enough, it could potentially buy you a lap.
Or maybe 2 or 3, depending on how much you do it for and how long. But he's doing this pretty early in the run, which says to me that he intends to do this for the entirety of the run and maybe go all the way to the end.
Have to see here how long he's going to bother staying out. We haven't seen that crazy amounts of drop off. You see these guys are running about.
He just ran quicker than Delicado did while saving fuel. He's still flying.
Which is really the impressive thing here.
Well, if you do it right, you won't be losing any time, right? Because he's just doing it at the time you'd normally be off throttle anyway.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I'm curious if we can also ride him well with Frankenfield, maybe if he's doing it. His lap times were not necessarily quick, but not necessarily slow either. He's still going at the rate, he's still
staying in 4th gear. So now, is Cameron Rich?
I don't think so. As aggressive as he just
he's still wheeling the heck out of that thing.
Yeah, I doubt that he is.
But Les and Finn have got to be getting real tired of each other with how much they've been around here.
Yeah, same thing with Eisenman as well. He's right behind them. And they've just kind of been and they've all been pretty close together as well. They haven't really separated all that much in chance of each other.
Brandon Kluserhuis and Richard Hines fighting for 11th position. We're coming up on 60 laps to go here shortly, about 32 minutes of racing remaining. At least one more pit stop for some of the drivers, but maybe none for others. Whoa, there's Nick Miller on the inside of the 87 at a look.
We'll say I won't be surprised if we do see these guys all the way to the end, at least potentially Gruber. I think it's care quite a bit. I do feel like we're going to have to make another stop, at least for Grunberg. But we'll see with the rate, especially Cameron Rich, he's been shifting it up there. He's burning up more fuel than anyone.
And making lots of time doing so, though. He's closed in on Justin Cole, but I don't remember where he restarted, but was certainly pretty deep in the field, up 15th spot maybe, back up in 5th, and now hunting down 4th on Justin Cole.
It actually was the 2nd fastest car last time through. Only car faster was Delicado, who's starting to make back some time on Gruber. The gap's now dropped below 2.5 seconds.
I just have to think Gruber is just getting himself a leg up. He wouldn't put it. He has the lead. There's no reason to try something risky. The only reason he'd be saving fuel is, look at Delicado. He's certainly trying. But the only reason Matt Gruber would be saving fuel is because he knows he can get there. He would not put this race in jeopardy just for fun. He's got a huge lead. He doesn't need to do any crazy strategy. So I think if he's saving fuel, it's because he can and because he thinks he can make it. Holman Rich still for 4th.
Which has done a really solid job working his way back up the order. We saw him drop to, I think, around 13th at the restart. After a mishap on pit road on the last caution, has worked his way all the way up to 5th, potentially 4th, and even 3rd as they're both directly ahead of him.
He's just trying to get this car so hard. It's been fun to watch for sure. He's been downshifting, and he still is. Look at him working that wheel.
He would go up ahead a little bit sideways as well, as they're both getting back on the power.
Yeah, and you mentioned Chad Frankenfield. He's actually been one of the slower cars, potentially either saving some fuel lifting early or just running out of pace, running out of tire.
I think he's just running out of tire. You see how wide he gets on exit in comparison to Cove, and Richie keep it pretty far down to the apex, or at least the white line on exit. Actually, here comes Cove having a look up the inside. Franklin's going to go defensive here. Battle for 3rd.
Good. Cole starting to hang the rear end out just a little bit, get the power down to the ground. It's a 3-white fight for P3 right now. It's 3.5 seconds up the track is Indelicato, who's 2.6 back from Gruber. We're closing in on 50 laps to go now. And briefly going to jump back to show you this fight. This booster is Clark and Hines, and also throw Nick Miller in there. All for position for 10th.
Yeah, Hines going to get into that 11th place spot as his car is going to go all wide. And also here comes Miller trying to work a pass on the 22 up the inside of turn 1. He will go.
Whoa, the 52 almost packing it in the fence. And Rich might take advantage of that mistake down into turn 3. There's Levi Zielinski now going a 3rd lap down. These drivers. Kolb has really got it lighting up now.
Everyone's sideways out of the corners here. The battle is on.
I have to think this is slightly defensive. Maybe offensive a bit now that he's caught Frankenfield, but also to keep the 84 behind him as we work lap number 94.
That's a tough spot being the car in the middle of a three-way fight, like you were saying. You got to be offensive to try to get the spot, but also defensive to keep the guy behind you, so you can't be completely aggressive with your moves. If you make a mistake, you're going to lose a spot immediately. So, got to be careful of the moves you make here. I think Kolb's just trying to get a better exit in the 15. You see in 15 track out a lot higher out of the corner than the guys in behind him.
Bryce Clark on pit lane for what we expect to be the last time tonight. Down in pit road right now, he's just returned to the racetrack. Wow, Kolb is still driving the wheels off that thing, but it's not making time like it is for the 84. It's certainly losing him some time, and here comes Rich up the inside in turn 3.
Well, actually, it was one of the faster cars. I think actually the fastest car last time by the stripe, so he's actually making up some pretty good time. A little bit slower last time, too.
Yeah, they're hanging out sideways is fast to an extent, but to the level he was the previous lap before, the last one, maybe not quite so much. There's Indelicato in 2nd, and there's Frankenfield in 3rd, Kolb 4th, Rich 5th, and James Miller is in 6th, about a second behind this group. Tanner Sharp hits pit lane in the number 3 Blurry Motorsports car. And we're now 55 laps to go, so these drivers are confident they can make it from here. Now the question is Gruber going to try to pit, or is he just going to stay out and maybe try to save some fuel?
I think he is, but meanwhile looking at Rich sending it deep into turn 1, Kolb going to give him as much room as he needs. He knows that the battle kind of over for now. He's going to try to get back on him, do the over-under. Yeah, I was trying to remember that.
Yeah, that was a cluster. But you don't have those moments where you just start talking, you're like every other word, you're like blah, 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 blah. Words, and you're like, there's my Vince Welch moment for the night, you know, or the Rick Allen aggressive goes around, or I was just watching a thing with who's he? Marty Reed. It puts the nail in the final coffin. It's just so good. I don't think I've like made a mix-up of words like that. I generally just kind of stumble on the ones that I'm actually trying to say.
Yeah, I've said some stupid stuff. What was the other one I said recently?
Oh, I don't remember, but it was really funny. I know Tomo was yelling at or laughing at me for saying a whole hecton or something along the lines of that.
I think it was something like a whole lot of loose or something.
Oh, yeah, a whole lot of loose. As if loose is like a quantifiable construct. Well, Rich is through to 4th place. Chad Frankenfield is up in 3rd in the 15. And now going to try to hang on to this 3rd spot as the 84 gets closer. So, now we're 50 laps to go.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where we're almost about halfway through the run. So I think we're going to see, like we saw, who was that came down earlier? It was
the 22 Race Clark came down a little while ago.
So yeah, he was definitely an early comer down on the pit road. So I think we're going to see, within the next 5 laps, a lot of the guys that are planning on making their stop, I feel, are going to probably come down now.
Yeah, so I guess the question is, for Nick Indelicato, what's your plan? Gruber has the leg up on everybody here, so do you just short pit and try to gain an advantage on him? Whoa, look at the 84 pop. Wow, look at these guys driving.
I mean, looking at the way these guys are driving, you have 50 laps to go, they're already getting the back end that's sliding out. I think they've been definitely abusing their tires, so I feel like it would be worth it, for the fuel, and then also you get some extra rubber.
The thing is look at the lap times. They're not that much slower than their best, maybe half a second at most. So I'm not really sure short pitting is that huge of an advantage, to be honest. Maybe for comfort, but not for speed. You can still make time slide around, as we've been seeing.
Granted, I think it's only going to worse and worse as this one goes on. You're seeing a lot more errors.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Oh.
Look at that down the front straightaway. Big block by the 15.
That was an exact replica of what we got the Iowa finish.
Yeah.
I don't know what year
it was.
That was.
Richmond 2000.
No, it was not Richmond. It was Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. You're right. 2011.
Oh, okay.
Carl Edwards and Ricky Stenhouse, where he blew the motor, and Carl Edwards ran up the back of him out of turn 4. That was amazing. I just remember, Iowa was a night race at that point, and I remember it, for some reason, Richmond got confused in my head. Drew Eisenman and Richard Hines hit pit lane in their cars.
Yeah, I feel like from what we've seen, actually, if we can go back on board with Gruber, see, we actually is still saving gas, because the gap has dropped down quite a bit, so he's still on it, so we wouldn't be too surprised to see him go all the way to the end, but I think everyone else is going to be going down its pit road.
Well, I'm just surprised that he's the only one trying this. I mean, he's on the same strategy as most of the other drivers in the field.
Well, again, to make something like this work, you do need some pace. You can't be slow and save fuel. Trust me, I've tried. This is entirely worked out.
Wow.
But,
yeah,
well, to at least win the race. And I think a lot of these guys are figuring, with the amount of fuel they're going to have to try to save, you're better off just pushing, coming down back onto pit road, getting your tires, getting fuel, and getting back out there.
Klooster, who sits pit lane in the 94. And just continue to keep an eye on these guys, because this could get messy real fast. Run out of the front straight, here he comes. He's gonna have a run out, and he actually lifted for a moment. Here he goes down into turn 1. There's gonna be contact there. Side by side, I would be amazed if they got through this without trouble, and it looks like they will. What a drive.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the corner exit yet. We've seen how side these guys get, and they're going to still keep it straight. An impressive driving by both to not get into each other. They're going to go down into 3 now, a dive from the 84 to try to clear.
I'm just impressed that Frankfield gave him enough space. We've seen a lot of times drivers will try to pinch each other and they get themselves in bad spots, but Cameron Rich up into 3rd. He's cleared him, and now James Miller's on through.
Yeah, Miller's car actually looks the best as far as, being planted. His car is sliding around the least out of this 4-car group for the 3rd place spot, so you can see him potentially jump up.
And Justin Cole wants to take advantage of it as well. He's going to slide up the inside.
He was way over the curbs in turns 1 and 2.
We'll get you a penalty down there, I'm pretty sure, does it not?
If you cut it enough, he was, kind of half and half, so I think he was able to avoid it, but you definitely don't want to try it.
Slide on a turn 4 for the 15. Cole with a run. Closing in on 40 laps ago. Grunberg still running 2/10 slower than 2nd place in Delicato. He's also in traffic, which isn't helping, but Nick is closing. Again, I'm just interested in the lap times here, because look at this. This is the best lap time for Delicato is a 30.296. His previous lap was only 7/10 off that. We're used to seeing lap time deltas between new laps and old laps being 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah, so it hasn't fallen out that much, but again, I am curious on how much more it's going to fall. But even just not even based off of lap times. Again, with how much these guys have been sliding around already, to go another 50 laps, how much more are you going to be sliding around? So you're going to be losing a lot of, grip just to continue on, let alone the lap time. So I think that's where it's sometimes going to be.
Now, if we get a caution, everything changes. Yeah. I'm not convinced that drivers that have already pit would come down again, though. So we're going to see how it plays out. So working lap 109 of 150 here at the Milwaukee Mile. Matt Gruber's led the most laps tonight. And Delicato sits 2nd. Then Cameron Rich 6.3 back in 3rd. And James Miller has been on a tear lately.
Trying to work back up through the order. Whoa, 84 getting pretty sideways.
He's been sideways the whole run. I think now it's starting to hurt him a bit. Justin Kolb hits pit lane in the 52.
He'll be one of the first cars up our leaders to head on down. Here comes Miller now up the inside.
With a wheel inside that 84, he's driving it.
I'm amazed that we haven't seen Rich come down. I thought he would have been probably one of the first guys to come on down to pit
Well,
lane.
now the sliding is hurting his lap time, so this is the time when I think you'd want to hit pit lane.
Here comes
Cole.
Yep, 1 lap down, but he's going to have fresher tires than these guys, so we'll probably see him try to get past them with relative.
Yeah, again, I don't know if it's going to be a huge advantage. It's certainly going to be an advantage. It's just not going to be several seconds a lap. Look at the difference in the corner there. So 40 laps to go. Next time by, Matt Gruber and Delicato. Miller, your top 3. And Cole still working through the lead lap traffic as he's just come out of pit lane. There are 8 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah,
that have not yet
a lot of drivers back in the midfield and even in the back markers. They've come down to pit road.
So Gruber stays out on track again. So does Nick and Delicato. And Kevin Finn hits pit lane, so there's now 7 cars that have yet to make their second stop of the night.
Number is continuing to drop lap after lap as more drivers go a lap down.
Why does it always seem, this happened with Indy Elite here too, it always seems that Milwaukee comes down to fuel mileage in some way, shape, or form.
I don't know. Or just, I guess, the cautions where they end up landing.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see a yellow right now to see what this would do to everyone's strategy. Whoa, the 51's certainly driving through the pain right now. Gruber's been saving the entire run.
He's been doing it more and more significantly.
Again, I don't think he would do this if he didn't think he could do it.
Cutting up the engine now. Let's ride into the car. I'm curious to see. Sounded like he fired it back up.
No, it's just clutching.
Oh, okay.
So again, I don't think he would do this unless he thought he could make it. He had the lead. There's no reason to try a risky strategy. Unless he thought someone else would do this, and that's why he's trying to defend against it.
Could be. We'll have to see how this is going to play out for him. Gruber definitely is a man who knows what he's doing, but, it's interesting to see, considering that no one else is on the strategy.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about for Matt, is that we haven't seen anyone else.
Typically, you see, 2, 3 other guys will try it as well. He's the only one that's been saving fuel. From what we've seen, we've looked down a decent amount of cars, and on the rain, a lot of guys are going out. It didn't look like they were saving anything. Cameron Rich down on pit road.
Yeah, there's only 5 cars left on the racetrack that have not made their pit stop. Carlos Acosta isn't saving fuel. Frankenfield hasn't been saving fuel. Miller certainly hasn't. Gruber is all on his own little island doing this right now. 35 to go next time by. And Delicato's now within a second, but still to make a pit stop. Here's James Miller. The 09 working through some lap traffic. Oh, pushes up on Corey Lindsay, who has already come in to the box, and he's in 13th in that 00 car.
There's a lot of cars in this particular part of the track.
There's Chad Frankfield in the background of the 15 car. In 4th. He is still yet to come to pit lane. So when will Nick and Delicato peel off? I'm almost thinking that he should have already come, but what's your thought on that?
I definitely think he would have. I think that he should have come earlier. I think what he's doing at this point, I think he's just going to come and splash a gas and then get back on his way.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking, where is the wear at? I guess that's really the question. If the tires aren't losing pace, that's one thing. But if they're wearing down to 10%,
yeah, I think from the look of it, I mean, even here you see them way wide in the entry of 3. I think they're just losing drivability more so than pace. And
for sure, but
that's what's going to be costing these guys.
Right, but the problem is if they blow a tire out, that's a problem. So without changing the tires, and we haven't had a long run like this yet, you don't know where your wear is unless you did these long runs in practice. But of course, race conditions change that. So if you don't change tires, that's a huge risk, and you're not going to know you're going to blow a tire until the moment you do. So with 30 laps to go, if I'm Nick and Delicato, I would have pitted 20 laps ago and used that fresh tire and just hope that Gruber runs out of fuel.
Yeah, because you're anyway going to be down there at that point, and you're going to need at least some amount of gas, I imagine. So I don't know, interesting difference in strategy there. Potentially. Look at Dustin Coe back in 10th place.
Dustin Dewar in the 32 car. We haven't really mentioned him at all. I think this is the first time we've mentioned him. And he's also staying out in the long run.
I believe, actually, you can pull that out. I believe everyone back from, everyone back from Kevin Finn. So the top 8 cars have stayed out on the track. Everyone else has come in for what should be their final stop of the night.
Yeah, a few more drivers that have not come yet. Sam Close, Corey Lindsay. I thought that he already had come. It looks like he has not. And Jess Story are also out on old tires as well. But the rest of the field has come in for another stop. And of course, the drivers that are that deep in the field that haven't pitted yet aren't really a threat to win this race anyway. But 30 laps to go next time by for Matt Gruber. Nick and Delicato is now within half a second of the lead.
Yeah, and again, this is technically a battle for the lead, but these guys are completely different pits, strategies. So, I mean, I don't think I still think Delgado has to come down. I'll be amazed if he...
No, he almost certainly, if Gruber is still saving this much, Delgado has to come. It's just a matter of when does he come. And what does Matt Gruber, what happens to Matt Gruber is really the real question. Because if he runs out of fuel, he's going to certainly lose a lot of positions. But maybe Gruber is just hoping that he can just take a slight splash and get back rolling and take even less fuel than Delicado when they come to pit lane. So maybe there's even that thought in here. Cameron Rich and Justin Colt, this is for position, that's for 9th on track. And Rich is right back to slipping and sliding around like Vaughn Gittin Jr. out here.
They're back at their battle. It's Kevin Finn leading the charge of drivers that have come down for stop on pit road. And everyone else ahead has stayed up, and that's looking at drivers 7th up. That stayed out.
Oh, interesting note that so drivers were getting meatball flags when power got down to 10%.
That's no fun.
I've never heard of that happening. I don't drive a whole lot, so I don't really know if that's the case. But
yeah,
that would be amazing if NASCAR could know what your tire wear was and flag value based on that. That'd be pretty funny.
I mean, you can't tell how much. It's kind of funny because it's like these guys don't have gauges of how much fuel they have, but if they would have how much tread they have left.
This is for position. This little scrap. That's Clark, Rich, and Kevin Finn all together for 7th.
Whoa! And Cameron Rich still backsliding there as he's trying to get by Kevin Finn, and also Joshua Clark, who is still yet to come down there. You see 66 laps since he has last been on pit road.
Oh, the Kevin Finn got right up to the rear bumper.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's fighting with these guys because I think they're on a different strategy. Going to try to defend his spot as much as he can. There's Kevin Finn going to the inside, going to let the 14 on by.
And we're closing in on 25 laps to go. And now it's really crunch time to figure out the strategies for Gruber and Delicado. What's the plan? I mean, Delicado's been going full tilt. Gruber's been saving fuel.
Trying to build out that gap, and it's actually going to separate back out, but it's right on the back of the 54 of Gruber now. Still curious, but we're going to see, we're kind of waiting for that last wave of pit stops where we expect Delicado, Miller, Frankenfield, and Acosta to make their trips down.
Jeffrey Fisher now under attack from Cameron Rich. And honestly, Cameron Rich is in a good position. With when he came to pit lane, the pace that he's been running.
Yeah, definitely going to make up a lot of time on the guys that have not made their trip on down because they can't even take advantage if they take fresh tires. I imagine at this point they're not. They're just going to take a splash of gas and go, but Rich has been making up some pretty solid time.
Certainly driver of the day in that 84. Making use of his time, filling in for Matt Hackathorn in that car. So this is your lead battle. And these two have been kind of tit for tat tonight since Bloomberg has fallen back into the clutches of Delicado. Again, two very different strategies still have yet. We're not going to know how this plays out until the white flag.
Yeah, really are. That's kind of the interesting thing about fuel mileage races like this. You never really know until the white flag comes out where everyone is. Even you really don't know until out of turn 4. We've seen several guys in the past run out of gas on the white flag lap, only to be passed a few hundred feet from the finish line.
Oh, look at Delicado now. Right on the rear bumper of the 54.
Looks like Gruber's kind of trying to him back and behind. It appears he's changed. No, he's still letting off the gas, but he's trying to...
Oh, he's going to get rear-ended here. A little bit of touch there. And Delicado, again, he doesn't have any reason to wait behind the 54 if he's saving fuel. So this is one of those situations where, typically you're not supposed to be rear-ending people, but if they're not on throttle or they have a clutch push in, that's their responsibility.
I wonder if he's trying to maybe potentially make Gruber use up more fuel.
That could certainly be.
Because he definitely would have been able to hear Gruber.
Oh, here's Hackathorn. Excuse me, not Hackathorn. That's,
yeah, I've always made that mistake several times.
I did make that mistake once. So.
And here comes...
big slide through 3.
I'm just going to say thank you very much. I want to get back on the lead lap in case a caution comes out.
That would be huge. Oh, he's in the wall. If he could get back in front of Gruber and the caution comes out, that would be enormous for Cameron Rich. That would certainly put him as the favorite to win this race. And there's a lot of close battles throughout the rest of the racetrack that caution is certainly a possibility towards the end of this thing, even for blown tires for drivers that are still out on the track.
seeing if Rich can get on by Gruber here. He should be able to.
I'm actually worried that they might be the caution if they get together.
Whoa.
Slipping and sliding again on corner exit. 20 laps to go from Milwaukee.
Here comes Rich up the inside. Gruber can't compete with that mid-corner speed.
Yeah, and fresh tires on the 84, and he's gone.
Easily going to blow him by.
And now that the caution comes out, that 84 car will win this race. I mean, that's how confident I am that he's going to be in position to win. The question is, will we get a caution? Like I said, I think it's possible. Is it likely? I don't think so, but certainly possible. And Delicado, with that pass the 84 made, he actually lost a couple tenths of a second. And it took him a long time to get to Matt Gruber, and I'm not sure he can get back.
Still have not seen him down on pit road. We're trying to more with the 5101. I'm curious if he's trying something. I don't expect him to. At this point, you're committed.
No.
You're not saving gas.
If Gruber intends to make it to the end, he's the only one that can make it. Everyone else hasn't been even doing anything close to him. So if it's close for Gruber, caught it! There it is! The caution is out.
Good story.
Oh my goodness, that changes everything.
We're talking about Cameron Ridge being in the catbird seat if something were to happen, like a caution coming out. Now we'll get to see that come to fruition here. You see the 7, I think, just spun off at turn 4. Don't see any damage to his car.
Wow, that is huge. Here's a look. Was all by himself.
This is going to be interesting here.
Oh, you know what? Maybe he downshifted. Certainly an embarrassing.
I don't see why you're downshift that late in the corner, but...
Yeah, downshift. Didn't rev match. And was already really slow.
That is...
Very weird.
Yeah, I don't see why you'd be downshifting at that point.
Well, coming from pit lane, but
yeah, I mean, still, you don't downshift until you get onto pit lane.
Yeah, that was very strange, but
that was like an arm. That's like an arm. Is your arm itchy moment right there?
Very strange. So pit road, Gruber and Delicado. Everyone else that hasn't come. Cameron Rich, I would not expect to see on pit lane. Although he hasn't leave that, so he could come. I think the move is to stay out, though.
We'll see here.
I think this is a huge mistake to come to pit lane, and he will not. He will stay out.
So Cameron Rich will take that, actually. Acosta's listed as a leader.
Does Acosta come to pit lane yet, though? No.
He was not the free pass car. He might just not be out here to lead a lap.
Yeah, that could be to try to save something from this night. Again, we didn't see Acosta saving like Gruber, so I wouldn't expect that he can make it to the end. And if Gruber was that confident in the race going green to the end, he probably would have just stayed out. But I think he's decided to come. So Cameron Rich again, I think, is in a great spot. And look who actually won the race off pit lane was Nick and Delicado. So that will put Gruber on the inside behind Cameron Rich for the restart if Rich chooses the inside lane.
Gonna see a lot of guys getting the wave around. They're gonna be kind of pretty much at a tire disadvantage at the very least. They've been out here. A lot of these guys have been out here 20-something laps on their tires.
And again, Cameron Rich is certainly at a disadvantage tire-wise, but we have not seen the tire drop-off, the fall-off that we would expect to see at any other oval track. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No, I think it's gonna be a big deal, especially when they're right in behind him with fresh rubber. And we saw, immediately when Coe caught back up to the guys that he was racing on, he just immediately blew on by him. So I think in the short run, as far as working past guys in a short amount of laps,
so here's the deal.
I think Rich is going to be at a disadvantage.
2 to 3 tenths a lap is the advantage that the drivers on fresh tires will have with the amount of tires or amount of laps that Rich has. If Rich can nail this restart and Delicado and Gruber get hung up on each other, if Rich can get at least a 1 to 2 second advantage, he might be able to stay out in front. We've seen drivers struggle to pass here without knocking each other out of the way. So Rich's restart is the most important part of this race for him. He needs to nail it and get as far ahead out in front as he can. I think the move here, take the outside for the restart, putting Delicado in front of Gruenberg, and make them battle it out in turn 1.
I mean, I don't know. I think it is.
Okay, let me have fun. Let me pretend like he can win.
Well, I was just saying, I would, if I was the crew chief for the 84, I would have said, with 5 laps to go, I would have gone with this strategy. I think with 15, though, I think it's just going to be too many laps left for him. Well, he's definitely going to try, though. All right.
Okay. What else? What could happen is everyone else wads up again, which is also very likely now that we have a restart. More crashes. I still like this track. I think this is the call because The chance for another caution is very high. You're going to keep taking off laps, and the amount of time that they're going to have to run him back down, very little. He has the advantage on the restart. Use it. I'm telling you, Finian, you gotta play ball with me here, all right? I'm trying something. Coming to the restart, Rich and Delicato, Miller, Gruber, 1, 2, 4, 3, because Gruber's on the inside lane for the restart, backed up a little bit. Rich takes the outside, gonna be 14 laps to go, and there's a whole lot of cars.
They're just coming out of turn 4 now. Actually, only Coma's the first one to get to this still race.
Whoa, Miller takes a block of the 54. Down into turn 1, Rich gets to the bottom of the racetrack. In front of him, Delicato. Can he run away?
Not quite. Here comes Delicato back on the inside. A great run out of turn 2 for him. And he's not close enough to make a move on the inside of Rich, but Rich is now just purely driving his mirror.
Again, cover the bottom, though. We've seen drivers struggle to get around each other if they just stay pinned along that bottom lane. But he's struggling, slipping and sliding. Can he stay in front for 13 more laps? I think he can if he can just stay on the bottom of the racetrack and not slide up.
In behind them, Frankenville looking to the inside of Kevin Finn. This is a pass for 5th position. Frankenville's just going to get to the inside. Not clear of Finn, though. They're still going to be side by side.
Oh, and Delicato slipping and sliding. Again, I'm telling you, he's pulling away right now. He just need to get there around 12 more times. Gruber's stuck back in 4th. He's in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's stuck back quite a bit here. Interested to see, we can see him come back up to the front. Delicato forcing the issue.
Rich has been driving the wheels off that car. Oh, Frankenfield on the wall. He gets turned across the racetrack, and the caution is out.
That was an interesting caution.
Oh boy. Told ya. I'm getting competitive up here now, and the strategy I think is going to work. But again, Frankenfield just comes out of turn 4. He's just going to get a little bit too high up here. Going to scrape the wall, and Frankenfield, or excuse me, the 14 of Kevin Finn. He gets on the brakes, see the nose dive.
Yeah.
But not quick enough. Let's ride on board with the 14. Yeah, he tried.
Yeah, he tried to avoid it, but we've been talking constantly about the way these noses are on these, essentially Gen 4 cars. You know, the slanted nose, just pick up the guy on the rear end.
So now, if Rich is smart on the restart, he'll take the bottom, because look where Matt Gruber is. He's P4. You don't want to put the fast guy in behind you. You want to put him behind the guy that you're going to try to beat on the restart. So now I would say Rich should take the bottom of the racetrack. I'm not, okay, I'm just saying, Rich has been putting in so much effort tonight, slipping and sliding this car around. I think
it'd be hilarious if you just came to pit road right now.
No, I would quit. I would just leave this booth right now.
Oh,
no, yeah, there's no reason why you do this. Again, tires are not that big of an advantage.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the back there are going to take their chance. They've been out there on 20, 30 lap old tires, so they're going to take their chance to finally be able to pit. Also, though, I was actually surprised we went green last time by, because on the restart, because there were a lot of guys still coming and racing through 3 and 4 when we took the green.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get that caution extended a lap.
So they'll get it. It's going to be a chance for them to catch back up now. Be on fairly even tires with everyone else.
Cameron Rich is going to be about 8 or 7 laps away on the restart from claiming a victory, filling in for Matt Hackathorn. But the 2 drivers that have led, actually, 3 drivers that have led most of the entire race, and Delicato, Bloomberg, and now Miller kind of sandwiched between them. This is a good position for him to be in, but he's going to have to drive with every ounce of energy he's got left. What are you looking over there on your stats sheet?
I was looking for when was the last time that we saw Cameron Rich in Victory Lane. That was in August of last year at Richmond Truck Series.
Been a little while. Been almost a year. What is that, 8 months? Nope, that's not math. But we're in April now for 8 months. 8 months. 4 plus 4.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, maybe 9. Oh, wait, no,
October, November,
July.
December.
No, wait, no, May.
February, May.
Rest of April, May, June, July.
No. You're counting the wrong direction. August of last year to April of this year. So it's September, October, November, December, 4. January, February, March, April. We're not counting the number of months between April and August. That would be May, June, July, August. That's 4.
Well, I was saying you could take out that and then subtract.
But why would you do that?
This is a shorter way that way.
But
short amount more. Judge me.
Oh, maybe you're right. You're right. It'd be easier to do just 12 minus 4. If you're watching the main stream, which is just a single monitor, the single display of just the broadcast, there's actually a behind-the-scenes stream where you can watch us our faces, watch us figure out math, and you can see all my buttons and controls and all sorts of things. If you're watching the behind the stream and you're not aware of the full screen stream, you can just click on the channel name below and see that we're live right here on a different stream. So we stream 2 for every single race on SimTV, behind the stream, and a main stream. So, look what he did, Finian. Rich is doing exactly what I would expect. He goes to the bottom of the racetrack for the restart.
Spell Sales is going to play out for him. This is, I think, this is definitely within range of the strategy working out here, especially considering the guys in behind have a heat cycle on their tires, so they're not going to be as good as when they just put them on. So here we go. 7 laps to go.
Told you so. 7 laps to go for the restart. 7 miles between Rich. Now I think we're rooting for our respective drivers. Here we go. 7 laps to go. Rich in command of the field, and Delicano on the outside. Green flag back in the air, and a good restart for the 84.
A very poor restart for Delicano. They see Gruber immediately going as soon as he can to the inside of the 51 to make a pass.
Whoa, 3 wide.
Oh, and some contact there as well. No one's going to go around, though, at least for now.
Back up for second. Miller's got the spot. For third, Gruber on the inside of Delicano as they rumble towards turn 3.
And Gruber looks like he might get the pass done in Delicano. No, he won't. He'll wash up the track into the 51.
Oh, the 51's washed up too. He's slipping and sliding out of control out of turn 4.
He's going to leave tire works coming out of 4. We're going to lose the spot. Gruber up into third, now looking for second, trying to get past James Miller.
Miller was the winner last night at Watkins Glen, led almost the entire event in the super late models at WGI, and is in position to win this race, but they are losing ground at Cameron Rich. He's driving away. There'll be 5 miles left. Next time through.
09 is Miller's best ally at the moment.
Oh, he's wide, is Miller. Bloomberg sees the hole open in front of him, and it's now just 0.7 of a second with 5 laps to go. And now Rich is looking in the mirror. They're bottling the background. To the inside goes Eisenman on Carlos Acosta down into turn 1. Will they make contact? No, just miss.
Almost got into the 2 of Acosta. Acosta went out way wide, and they're back side by side again by corner exit.
0.6 of a second separate the leaders now. Eisenman into turn 3. Acosta up high. In behind him, Hines and Race Clark. Here comes Closer, who's up the inside. 3 wide at a turn 4. This is for 11th spot.
Guys racing hard now, and Hines going to drop back in behind the 22 and the 94. They're still side by side into 1. As the guys are just now starting to get somewhat sorted out. Here's a go to the outside of Finn, battling for 5th place.
And Velez to the inside of Acosta down the back straightaway now for 8th spot. 0.3 of a second between Gruenberg and Rich. There'll be 3 laps to go next time by. This is going to come down to the wire. 0.2 of a second. And Gruenberg is almost there. A car length between them. 3 miles left at Milwaukee.
This really is going to be closer. Interested to see if we get a caution. We might with the way these guys are racing. Eisenman all the way into the inside wall. Trying to get a line on the 52. Here comes Nathan Velez on the inside of Acosta. They almost made contact. Velez bullies his way on by. There's also looking at
Jeffrey Fisher.
Fisher up the inside of the 2 of Acosta. Kluster is looking to follow his way on through.
Great racing all throughout the field. Here we go. 2 miles left at Milwaukee. And Gruenberg is there, and so is Nick and Delicano with 51. Yeah. Will these 2 get together?
3-way battle for the lead with 2 laps to go. Rich just trying to defend as much as he can here.
Oh, here comes Gruenberg. 1.5 miles left. The miles ticking down. 7,000 feet for Cameron Rich.
Looks like Gruber's going to essentially have 1 more chance next time by. He's going to sit in behind.
Here he goes. The rear bumper. Touch. He got there.
4 more corners now for these drivers. 3-way battle. Delicano trying to throw his head into the ring. Here we go. White flag in the air.
1 mile left of the Milwaukee Mile, and Rich leads the way. A late race strategy to stay out on old tires in front of the fastest driver of the race. Gruenberg is a car length behind, now half a car length. 10 feet behind as they exit turn turn 2. Gonna come down to one more set of corners.
Yeah, with Siders out of the corner, here comes Gruber down to the inside. Rich is going to defend here.
Here he comes. Bump and run.
Oh!
The 51 gets to 54. They touch. They crash in the final corner. Cameron Rich exits turn 4, and the strategy pays off. He wins at the Milwaukee Mile. And Delicato second. Miller third, and a big crash in turn 4. Race Clark is destroyed, and cars coming to the line. Hoods covering the windshield. Frankenfield all across the racetrack.
Sam Close makes Velez involved as well. An absolute carnage at the Milwaukee Mile. Wow, that was a fantastic finish.
And Gruenberg comes in 7th.
He's going to not be too happy with the 51.
Wow. For Cameron Rich, the strategy pays off. He drove harder than anybody out there tonight and earned this one.
Definitely did.
We didn't get a moment to breathe. And Hackathorn, not in this car tonight, turning the wheel over to Cameron Rich, who hasn't won in the 3-Line Racing League since August. He goes to victory lane at the oldest track in the nation tonight. You hear in the background parts and pieces dragging from the rest of the field. But here's a look at your race results. And have a look. Rich and Delicato, Miller, Finn, and Justin Kolb sneaks out of top 5, but for the rest of the field, a carnage fest out of turn 4.
Yeah, I definitely think too that I think Delicato was a big help for Cameron Rich, and that I think we could have probably seen Gruenberg throwing some more dies if he didn't have another driver to defend from. But he was kind of preoccupied with dealing with Delicato, because he was being pretty aggressive in behind, so Gruenberg had to wait for the right opportunity, but it never presented itself.
There's a look at your race results. I want to go back and look at that finish because it was a wild one. So let's just go back a little bit here, Finian, and take a look in slow motion because we're going to need some time to digest everything as they exited that final corner. So it was Rich that was leading into turn 3. And let's go back. So here is the 51 getting into the back. He just flat out just ran him over. And these two will tangle. And I think the stack up behind Gruenberg is what starts this whole mess.
Actually, Gruenberg's stuff, that was unrelated. It was a separate incident because Gruenberg's already back rolling here.
So, you see the behind him, that's the 48.
Klusser's got into Velez, and then that's going to turn hard
look
to
at the
wall.
22 taking a massive hit to the wall out of turn 4.
Actually, the 48 Velez was involved in 2 separate incidents.
Because he actually gets rolling again.
Yeah,
and there's Frankenfield.
Frankenfield trying to avoid him.
And he slams the wall and comes back across the racetrack, and they tangle there as well. Go back and look at the 22 getting turned into the outside wall. What a hit. And he'll come home in 18th place. That's heartbreak for Race Clark.
Yeah, he was looking at a really solid finish, although if that did not happen.
Look at this. That's the worst angle to hit a wall. Man, straight into the safer barrier. Sparks flying, parts and pieces.
I tried to onboard with the 22 to see what his view of this mess was coming to the line.
I can tell you it's going to hurt, and there's Frankenfield again. Right here, dives for the outside.
That's violent.
Then for Chad Frankenfield.
Oh. Love the sounds.
Back and across the line. Wow. What a finish, what a race. That was a spectacular race out there tonight, Finney. We saw a whole lot of battles for the lead, battles for position. Official lead change numbers tonight, only 6, but that doesn't show how exciting that race was. We'll roll through your results one final time before we jump to break. We're going to talk to Rich and Delicato and more after the break here in just a moment. So, you're watching Sim TV. In the meantime, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back live here to Sim TV. We're here now with your 7th place finisher and most laps led driver tonight. It's Matt Gruber in the 54. Matt, tonight didn't end the way you wanted. You were about a half a car length behind Cameron Rich, and it was a bump in the final corner that kind of took you out of the race. Walk us through your night tonight, the strategy, and ultimately a late race restart, which ended with you in the wall.
Well, started in the back and worked my way up. It was pretty fun. And then got to the front and had a hell of a time getting by Levi. That took a while. And then once I got by Levi, the clean air was nice. I was able to bowl a bit of a gap on second, and then that first caution that came out with about, I think, 90 to go, pitted there, and I knew it was going to be pretty close to the end on fuel. And so I was trying to save on that run there. And then I was going to be about half a lap short, and then I found out Nick was not going to make it at all on that one. So too bad the caution came out there for the driver missing pit road, but and then I ended up getting too far right on my pit box. The pit box was a little weird. And then the restart, the last restart, I'm pretty sure I changed lanes, so I don't think I would have kept the win even if I got it. And I definitely wasn't going to bump Chad or Cam for it. Chad, Cam. And then no hard feelings to the 51. I mean, we both checked up pretty hard, and I know he didn't really have anywhere to go. Probably not the drama that you wanted to hear in the interview, but it is what it is.
No, it's all right. We're always okay.
Okay,
it's good to have mutual respect between drivers, Matt. Obviously, an unfortunate way to end the race, but still a really solid run, a top 10 for you in that 54, all things considered. So thanks for talking.
Yeah, that 51, he's going to get it next week.
Everybody's satisfied now. All right, Matt, have a great night.
You too.
Moving on now to, it'll be James, we'll have Nick and Delicato in the booth here in the 51. Nick, tonight, a really strong race. You were chasing the 54, Matt Grunberg, for most of the night, came down to the last corner, and some contact there. Walk us through.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Short tracks really aren't my strong suit, but I expected this race to not go so well for me. I was hoping Bristol was going to go well with battling for the lead, got caught up in the wreck, but that's last week. Had a good run. I knew I wasn't going to be the fastest car, and Matt pulled away there, and we had that long run, and I was chasing him, and I wasn't shifting. Everybody else was shifting. I stopped shifting to save tires and try to save fuel, but he pulled away. I ended up catching him, and then we had a caution, late race caution, took 4. I came out ahead of him, and Cameron, I think he said he was on 30-lap old tires, took the lead, and I had a really bad restart, and I just sat behind Matt and Cameron and waited for Matt to make a move in the final corner, which he did, and I got in there really high. I took a wide arc, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a run off, and if he hits Cameron, I'm gonna maybe try to sneak the win. But they checked up really hard, and I really couldn't do anything about it. I was on the brakes the whole time, and I feel really bad for Matt because he was really the fastest all day.
Well, he said he's going to get you next week, is what he told us. I'm just kidding. He said he was all right with it. But, Nick, a really strong one for you. 2nd place, another good points night for you in that 51 team. Thanks for talking, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, it was great. Thank you, guys.
Sure thing. Moving on now to James Miller, who finished 3rd place tonight. He was the race winner at Watkins. Well, he's back. Well, get him back in here, if any.
No, I left. Fire. Accidentally dragged him.
Well, James Miller is here. He won last night at Watkins Glen and got a top 5er tonight, James. Kind of a wild result. There was cars spinning and sliding everywhere that last lap. Walk us through your night and that late race restart.
Yeah, it we started off not qualifying. Didn't feel too confident after seeing practice results of cars everywhere. Didn't really feel confident of starting up there and potentially getting run over or something, so stayed in the back, made our way up to the front, followed Matt through the field, and just he was basically moving everyone out of the way, and I just kind of pick up the pieces and sneak my way through, and then I think I made it up to 7th or 6th, and it got held up, and I just couldn't go anywhere from that. But the car was really good on long run, and unfortunately those last restarts I had nothing because the car was all long run. I guess fortunately that last run was about 7 laps, so 4 laps in the car got really good. I ran my fastest lap of the whole race. Just couldn't get up there, but fortunately passed Matt there and got third. I was trying to get Nick too, but I had to go around Matt on the high side and then try to cut under Nick. It just wasn't happening.
James Miller, winner last night, third place tonight. James, thanks for talking. Congrats. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Winner of the night was Cameron Rich, and kind of in a filling in role for Hackathorn tonight. Has the Hackathorn name above the window net, Cameron, but haven't won in 3-wide racing league since August at Richmond. You come in here tonight and you drove the wheels off that car for the entirety of the race, shifting, sliding the tires, sliding the wheel around, making a show out of it, but stayed out of that late race caution and drove away to a win with the second and third place cars tangling. Walk us through your night.
Yeah, actually, I haven't really raced since like September, but I got bored and I just reactivated my iRacing and said, you know, why not? And I knew this car had like a new tire model or something, and I knew that the tires like being cold was kind of hairy, so I was like, you know, why not just try staying out? Because I knew I was going to beat Matt on speed alone, because he had to figure out, and my long run speed was kind of junk because I was shifting, but you know, it was pretty fun. It was really actually pretty physical. One of those races that definitely makes you sweat. So it was a really fun night and really fun sliding around with these things. I love the damage model and the new tire model. It's all really cool.
Cameron, walk us through that last couple laps. I mean, obviously we're dealing with 30-lap older tires, and you got Indelicato and Miller and Gruber right behind you. How difficult was it to stay pinned against that yellow line, that white line, to keep those guys behind you?
It actually wasn't too bad. It was just the center was a little bit, you know, the car would wash up a little bit, but I think the cold tires and the guys behind me, I knew they really didn't work very well at all, so I kind of just, you know, tried to see what happened there. Last lap, I thought Gruber was going to, you know, send me off to Chicago because he was a lot quicker than me right there, and I think something happened to them, or something happened to him, and he got kind of in an incident, but I think, not sure if he's going to get a penalty or not, because I think there was a lane change accusation. I didn't see it, but, you know, I'm glad I was able to, you know, keep off his front bumper. I saw what jacking the car up does nowadays, or, you know, now with the new model and everything. And it's really cool, but kind of scary when you're going into the last turn on the last lap with somebody real fast like Gruber behind you.
Cameron, congratulations. It was a really, really strong run. It was fun to watch you wheel that thing tonight in the 84. So congratulations on the win, and hopefully we'll see you around.
Appreciate it. It's real good to be back.
What do you point?
I don't know. I like wasn't able to drag him out.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why I was like pointing at the thing. I like the like shaking.
Finney was making weird.
You see, like it's like shaking here.
Oh, okay. Well, you got witchcraft and wizardry going on here. That's going to do it for us tonight here from the Milwaukee Mile. Tomorrow night, it's going to be finally a one-race nice calm night with the Fuel Premier Series. They'll be headed to Martinsville, so maybe not calm on the racetrack, but I get to relax a little bit and not stress out so much. Wednesday, the return of the Rodenzo Sports Car Challenge from the upstate New York Superhighway of Speed. Watkins Glen will be Tom O'Gorman and I in the booth. Finney and Dakota will be down, probably crashing on the racetrack, so we'll be joining you there 7:30 p.m. for another 4 races from Watkins Glen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock.